What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Rise Rocky Road. So this video is a little bit more of like a serious kind of video. Not serious, but kind of serious. So I just wanted to kind of come on here and talk a little bit about my mental health, talk about mental health in general, talk about faith and things like that. So if you're new around here and you have no idea who I am, what's up? I'm Raya, or Mariah, whatever you want to call me. I am 26. I went to college in 2017 after I graduated high school, and I went and majored in psychology. Through majoring in psychology, which I had also did psychology in high school as well, but through majoring in psychology, I was able to just learn a lot about mental health, a lot about child development, a lot about trauma, things of that nature, and it inspired me to continue on that path. And as I've continued just researching and studying and learning more about mental health, psychology, Black history, things of that nature, I've just grown to have a deeper understanding of not only just like the world but myself, and I would want to share that understanding with you guys because I think it could help you. So yeah, if you suffer from mental health and you're trying to find your way through faith, this video might be for you, so stick around. Part one, how I realized things were off. So essentially speaking, so I did get diagnosed with bipolar disorder back in 2022. I don't know what year that was, 2022 or 2023. I got diagnosed with bipolar. It's not called bipolar, it's called cyclothymia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, to be honest with you, but essentially speaking, it's considered bipolar 3. It's considered a more mild version of bipolar disorder, but with more consistent mood swings. So personally, I feel like it's worse than bipolar disorder because if I'm mood swinging less consistently, at least I can stay with that mood longer. But for me, my mood swing more consistently, and so I'm even more unpredictable than somebody with bipolar 1 or 2. I probably shouldn't say that, but that's how I perceive my own mental health. So do what you will with the diagnosis. But essentially speaking, it gets worse around my period. My cycle, my menstrual cycle. So when my period is coming up, the natural mood swings that women get in general are just worse than they normally would be, and I don't really notice it until somebody else notices it, which is really bad. But like people will be like, oh, you're snapping on people, you have an attitude, what's wrong with you, things like that, and I'm like, nothing's wrong with me, what are you talking about? So that's kind of how I noticed that something was off. And this is before getting diagnosed and after being diagnosed, because once I was diagnosed, I have not been consistently medicated by any means. Like, I've never been on medication longer than weeks. I cannot keep up with it, but we'll get to that on another part of the video. So I have notes. If y'all haven't noticed, I'm looking at my phone. I have notes. So yeah, essentially speaking, like, I just noticed that people would tell me, oh, you snapped on this person, or you had an attitude here, or you addressed this situation like this, and it would make me feel so bad about myself. And it would just make me feel like, or it not make me, like I'm saying like this past tense, it makes me feel like I'm a bad person. It makes me feel like I don't know how to control myself. And it can just be very overwhelming when you are a grown person who has, like, when people meet me, they love me. Like, so it's like, it's hard to be someone who is lovable and a people person and sociable and all of these positive things, and then you still deal with these types of issues because you know how to act, you know how to communicate with others, you know how to be with others up until a certain point. And once your mind rises up, you're done for. And that's pretty much me. So if I'm okay, then I'm probably everybody's favorite person in the room. But if you've offended me, or if you've said something that has hurt my feelings, that's when something clicks within me, where I'm no longer just regular old Mariah who has the rationale of a 26-year-old who's gone to college. No, I'm now operating as my 6-year-old self who's hurt that you called me ugly or said my hair was shorter than yours. Like, it's like I snap back to a child, or I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like my chemical balance is off. So when you say something that might not have thrown the next person to gangbanger central, acting a damn fool, ready to cuss you out and fight, that's where it would send me. Okay, so that's pretty much kind of sort of what I would be experiencing. So a normal offense for someone where maybe you walk by and accidentally bump them, I can't just move past that. I gotta say something. I gotta respond. I have to, like, it affects me. It affects my whole mood at that point. And is it gonna affect me for the entire day? No. But is it going to impact that moment? Yes. And unfortunately, sometimes when it's impacting that moment, depending on how that moment moves, it can impact the whole day. Because let's just say that that moment escalates to something where now it's an argument between me and a loved one, or me and a friend or something. Now it's something that is going to have to be dealt with later. So depending on the severity of the situation, it can be really bad. And it can just be hurtful to people that love you. Like, they're like, damn, she kind of hurt my feelings, she snapped on me, she went off on me, whatever the case is, you know. So that's what kind of made me realize, okay, something is off, something is wrong. You gotta slowly roll. And this is, like I said, before diagnosis and after diagnosis. A few things that I learned, and this is just me doing research, like I said, and I'm looking at my notes. So first thing, hormones can hit really hard, especially before your period. So I had basically to understand that, like, even though or not even though, but because I'm a woman and I'm dealing with a mental health disorder, your hormones are going haywire. So you have to give yourself some grace with the hormones, and you have to be aware of the fact that, okay, my period's coming up, this is what it is. Being aware of that, communicating with the people around you. I mean, you don't have to tell them your whole period, but just letting them know, hey, you know, I might be a little bit more irritable around this time. Please be mindful, you know, of that. And I'm going to be mindful of myself. But just communicating with those around you so that they can uplift you and be a community and just be like a little sweet hug for your mental health around that time, because it's impossible to get through this crap by yourself. And like for me, I struggle. Like, that's just the best way to put it. I struggle because sometimes my awareness is down. So I don't even realize that my mental health has gone haywire because I'm not even aware of my mental health gone haywire, because life is so fast and requires so much of you that I haven't had a chance to check in with myself and realize, oh shoot, you're off. You're snapping. You're irritated. You're upset. You're triggered. You know what I mean? So know that when your period's coming up, have a tracker and have a safe space within your workspace or your friend group or your family group, somebody that can advocate for you and be a safe space. So for me, my principal knows that when my period comes, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm not the same Miss Murray that I was 2 weeks ago. So she knows already. And she probably don't know when my period is, but she probably can sense when it's coming, because you can tell with how I'm acting. And it's really embarrassing. So that's why I'm making this video. Track your period and have safe spaces within your community. Have some grace for yourself. So like I was saying, because I'm dealing with my female hormones and my bipolar hormones, it is hard. So have grace for yourself to understand that you are not working on the same battery level as somebody who doesn't have all of this stuff going on. Even comparing yourself to a man, if you're a woman, they don't have the same level of hormonal beat downs that we're experiencing. So give yourself some grace and just be aware of the fact that, hey, you're not what they say. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us, okay? And it's okay. Like, because I know sometimes when my mental health is spazzing out, I start feeling like I'm not normal. Like, I literally cry. I'm like, I just want to be a normal girl. Like, I literally say that. But it's like, I'm getting emotional because I feel bad. Like, damn, I don't have my tissues in here. But hold on, y'all, because I ain't gonna be sitting here crying. I'm okay. I don't feel upset. But I just feel like because you're trying so hard to regulate yourself, it can be easy to just feel like, dang, like I can't just be normal. I feel like emotional regulation is something that we see in children. We see it lacking in children. So I feel like for me, sometimes I can feel like, damn, like how you work with kids and you act like one. And that's not the right way to talk to yourself when you're going through this type of stuff. You have to speak to yourself in a way that allows you, like, sometimes when I'm actually doing well, I'd be like, it's okay, baby. You don't have to feel bad. Like, I talk to myself like I am that child. Come on, mama, it's okay. don't be upset. Like, you're trying your best, you know. Like, I have to talk to myself like I'm a kid, and it helps me a lot, you know. But when I'm talking to myself like, bro, you so childish, why you act like that, like how other people have treated me, that doesn't do anything but make myself feel worse. So be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, and have grace for yourself to understand that your chemicals are not balanced. Like, if this is the balance, your chemicals is like this, and you trying to operate with someone whose chemicals are balanced. Your chemicals aren't balanced, babe. So I'm not saying give up and just act a fool, but have grace for yourself, because you're not going to be able to just be perfectly, boom, tomorrow you're good. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Let me be the first one to tell you. And that's even on medication. Medication doesn't just work like that. Well, some medication is fast acting, but for the most part, mental health type medication, you got to take it for a while before it's just going to kick in. And like for me, I've been trying to do better. I've been taking my medication pretty consistently. I think I forgot today, to be honest, but I'm gonna take it after this video because it's almost 5 a.m. so it's almost morning time when I would normally take it. So I'm gonna take my medication in a little bit, but take your medication, get you some medication. If I should have said this in the actual video, but I don't encourage taking medication without actually being in therapy as well. You should have both at the same time so you can get off medication. If you're unaware of even like medication, where you getting medication from? Ooh, excuse me. Get yourself a psychiatrist. If you don't have a psychiatrist, I just learned how to get a psychiatrist through my current insurance. You have to go through your medical insurance. Call your medical insurance, find out who your mental health coverage is through, or just tell them, I'm looking for psychiatry, I'm looking for medication management for my mental health. They'll be able to help you. If you don't have insurance, go to marketplace.gov, I think it's called, and get you some insurance. Fill out the little thing. If it asks you like, why do you qualify to be filling it out, just put in that you moved or something. I don't know. I don't remember what the things tell you, but you can get insurance and then you can get your mental health medications that you need. But go through Marketplace if you don't have insurance through your job. If you have insurance through your job, call the insurance through your job and ask them about your mental health coverage. Ask them about psychiatry so that you can get medication, and get the generic brands. You don't need to get the most expensive shit. Just get the generic brands so that you can be great. Okay, if y'all need a video on Marketplace insurance, then let me know and I can definitely help you there, because I used to have Marketplace insurance. Now I have insurance through my job, so that's why I was saying I didn't know how to use it. But I used to have Marketplace through the state, so let me know. Another thing that people probably need to be aware of when they're dealing with mental health, faith, and just like outbursts, or you know, having these issues where you're spazzing on people because of your mental health, you might be dealing with more than one diagnosis, babe. You might be dealing with more than one mental health disorder. You might be bipolar and have anxiety. You might be having bipolar depression. You might be having anxiety and ADHD. You don't know what you're actually dealing with. Sometimes even when you see a mental health professional, they might have to treat you for one thing at a time, because let's just say, for me, let's use me as an example. So we know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, anxiety, loud and proud. We have anxiety, no doubts about that. We're dealing with anxiety 100%. We're dealing with some seasonal depression over here 100%. We're still trying to figure out what's going on with the ADHD. We don't know. So for me, my psychiatrist my last psychiatrist, I'm dealing with a new psychiatrist as of Monday. But my last psychiatrist basically was treating me for anxiety because he wanted to figure out if the anxiety was treated, would the ADHD go away, or is the ADHD its own thing? So some symptoms are cross-sectional to where you can have anxiety symptoms that are also the same symptoms as ADHD or bipolar or any other mental health. They're not all the same, but I'm just saying some of them have similar symptoms. So when you're trying to diagnose it as a specialist or as a mental health professional, you might have to take it slow and do one diagnosis at a time, because of the fact that this diagnosis looks like this one, if that makes sense. So don't beat yourself up and be thinking that, oh, well, why am I tripping on this, if this, that, and the third? You might be dealing with more than one thing. So like I said, for me, I get anxious because sometimes my ADHD is spazzing up while my anxiety was trying to calm down. So then it's like this. Let's say the anxiety was here, ADHD was somewhere down here. Anxiety starts going down, right? Then my ADHD starts to kick up out of nowhere. So then my anxiety is like, ooh, where are we going? So then I'm all over the place. So like I said, because I'm dealing with one diagnosis at a time and I have never been consistent on my medication, I have to have grace for myself for the fact that we still don't know what I'm dealing with. So be kind to yourself and just be gentle, you guys. Like, other people are not going to be that gentle with you if you don't start with being gentle with yourself. So be gentle with yourself. After I kind of started to look at just like the mental health part of it, what I'm dealing with and all of those things, I had to start to kind of think about, okay, even if I had the perfect mental health, I didn't have any mental health disorders, I was just a regular person, is that such a thing? I would love to know. Is there anybody in the world who just doesn't have mental health disorder? Because I personally think that everyone has something wrong with them. Like, when I meet people, I'm like, oh baby, you in that DSM, you in the DSM, okay? You is in there. You're in there, babe. Your symptoms is listed on somebody's page, okay? Y'all, I look so pretty. So let me read y'all off a list of the things that I'm juggling. Because like I said, even though I have the mental health that I'm dealing with, if I didn't, this is what I'm dealing with. Full-time teacher, grad student in social work, internship, field hours, which is the same thing as internship, content creation, caretaker from my dogs, emotional labor from working with kids that are dealing with all kinds of stuff. I don't even want to talk about it. Family, finances, goals, running programs, which is my internship, planning lessons, which is my freaking job, staying organized, all the above, showing up for everybody around me, my dogs, my family, my friends, my students. These are just a few things that I have to deal with. So I'm also in my ACP, which is more basically another education program. So I'm dealing with 2 different education programs. I'm working full time. I'm doing the coursework for the education programs. I'm taking care of 2 dogs. I'm doing so much stuff. And then money is like, my money's not bad or anything, but money can be, you know, another factor. There's just so much to deal with. And then every 5 seconds we find out something else that Dr. President done did. What you, give me the pen. Give me the pen. Don't sign nothing else. Don't talk to nobody else. Don't have no more meetings. Don't call no more damn laws and bills and sit down. Everybody needs to sit down. Matter of fact, somebody tell Dr. President that he's on break. Let him know that Miss Murray said he's on break. Dr. President, sir, you are officially on break. You don't have to report to work. It's okay. We gonna hold you down, okay? You are off for the next 2 years. You're off for the next 2 years. You don't have to worry about nothing. Everybody tell Dr. President, Mr. Dr. President, let him know. Miss Murray said you're off. You're off. Freedom. Let him know vacation time. Time to relax. Thank you. Thank you to my FBI agent. Let him know he's on retirement. Wait a damn minute. What year isn't he supposed to be retired? Alright, I'm sorry, y'all. See, this is what I'm talking about. I done got distracted as hell. I'm sorry. All that to say, when you're dealing with all of this stuff, and Mr. President, it's too much, okay? Even if your mental health was normal, it's too much. So if you think about the fact that even a normal brain-wired person probably would still be losing their crap a little bit with all of this stuff on their list, and then on top of that, you do have mental health issues, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Sometimes you might just gotta pull over and cry. Sometimes you might have to just fight the air. Sometimes you might have to journal it all out. Sometimes you might have to get on your knees and pray, okay? Crack open this good book, okay? If you didn't know, this is the Bible. This is the Bible. But, case in point, it is what it is. I hate that phrase sometimes, but when it comes to all the ish that you're dealing with, when it comes to this list of the life tasks that you have to deal with, and then you got your mental health stuff on the other side of the list, it is what it is. So whatever it looks like, be okay with that. Sometimes me having a good day looks like crying 3 times. Hey, at least it wasn't 7. Okay? Some days, me crying in the bathroom instead of me crying in front of someone is a victory. Hey, sometimes me crying in front of someone instead of crying in the bathroom is a victory. So whatever a good day looks like for you with your mental health, make that a good day and make that okay. Like, don't be like, oh, I cried today or I went off on someone. Okay, you're aware of it. Okay, you are aware of it. You're aware of the fact that you went off. You apologize for going off. You reflected on how you ended up there. Move on. I feel like that's another thing that I'm not going to go too far into, but this is my thing. A lot of times your mental health is a side effect of the things that have happened to you, or people have done to you, or the environment you came from, or your background, things like that. So if the people around you who have low-key played a role in your mental health being where it is are the same people who are bullying you and making you feel bad for your mental health, who's really the problem here? Right? So on that same basis, don't let the people who effed you up keep effing you up. Okay? Leave them. You see this? This is like us flicking them off. We're flicking them off because at the end of the day, you're the reason why I'm like this. Okay? And I'm just trying to undo everything that you did. So instead of me letting you continue to kick me around like a soccer ball, I'm just going to remove myself from you, or at least remove my, remove the need of your validation. Because wanting validation from the people who beat you down or have made you who you are in good ways, and mainly I'm talking about in the bad ways, you don't need to be validated by them. Because if you need to be validated by them, you're going to be living the same crappy life that you don't like right now, because you're trying to validate yourself by people that you don't even agree with. How are you going to get validated by someone that you don't agree with? If you telling them, can you validate that purple is great, and they're saying, well, I don't think purple is great, I think green is great. How are you going to get validation from that? You're not. So you better off validating yourself, or finding circles of people who validate you and check you when you're wrong, but of course validate you when you're not wrong. Validate you when you just need basic validation as a human. The vulnerable part of just kind of being someone who's snappy and moody and frustrated and can embarrass themselves a little bit with the way that they act when they get upset. I feel like the hard part is just the vulnerability, the feeling of guilt after snapping, wanting to isolate to protect others. So just like a lot of times after I've gone out into the world and have done something, even if it was small, I isolate. I get really, really, really dark. Like, I get really sad. I get very, I don't know what the word is. Like, I just get really down on myself. Like, if I have a situation where, let's say tomorrow I go out and I argue with someone, I'm probably not going to go around people for like 5-6 days. Because I just start to feel like I don't want to be, like I said before, I don't want to be the bad energy in the room. I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to be the one that's losing my ish. But on the other side of it, it's not like you're just walking around like someone says hi and then you're like, ah! That's not what's happening. You're analyzing what the person is saying, and something inside of what they are saying has upset something inside of you. And I think that the biggest thing is figuring out what those things are so that you can work through them, so that when those things come up, you're no longer spazzing out, but you're able to say, hey, a boundary of mine is that you can't speak to me that way. Or, you know, I don't really respond well when people call me that name. Can you please call me this name? Or, you know, being able to communicate in a way that's effective rather than, rah! And now everyone's like, I didn't even do anything. Mind you, they did everything. But because you responded louder or bigger than them, you look like the bad guy. You look like the crazy one, right? But you ain't crazy. I get it. I promise you I get it, okay? Don't let these people call you crazy. You're not crazy. You and me are here, okay? Which I don't know if that means anything, because people be telling me I'm a little crazy. We ain't crazy. One thing you can remind yourself, I'm not a mean person. I'm not an angry person. But sometimes my brain and hormones are louder than my intentions. So even though if your intention is just to defend yourself or to communicate on your own behalf, sometimes your hormones and your brain might not be working with you. They might be working against you. So instead of your message coming out as, hey, you just hurt my feelings, it might come out as, you raggedy ass. You got me up. And now you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. No, you shouldn't have said that. So what I'm doing now to help myself, and what you can do to help yourself, I'm restarting my medication. Like I said, I've been taking my medication because that's going to be a major thing to start with. I scheduled an appointment to see a new psychiatrist so that I can get new medication and find out if this psychiatrist believes that it's ADHD, or if they can treat me for both or one, or what the case is. But just meeting with the mental health professional to get new insight is another step I'm taking. Tracking my mood and my cycle. So I am trying to do a little bit more, or be a little bit more intentional about making sure that I always track my cycle, but just making sure that I track like how my moods were before it, during it, after it, so that I can be aware of the patterns, and then so I can also just work on them you know, so I can be more, just more better for the people around me and for myself. Also tapping into my mindfulness that I'm already aware of. So just kind of thinking like, closing my eyes and being like, okay, I can hear this, I can smell this, I can see this, I can, you know, just being able to, like grounding exercises, like I said. So just maybe if I just put my hands together and I'm just, like, I don't know what it is about that just makes me feel like I feel better. Even just 3 deep breaths, I feel better. So tapping into those things like breathing tools and things like that, grounding exercises, those things are important that help me. And then like I was saying in the video, just being gentle with myself to be like, hey, you're having a day, you're having a moment, your period's coming up, your emotions are a little bit more peaked today. Stop trying to beat yourself up. Be nice to yourself. So just having grace for myself is also another one. And then for my Christian girlies, I didn't put this at the end on purpose, but for my Christian girlies, I would highly recommend including God in your journey. So you need mental health medication. You need a mental health professional, like a therapist or a psychologist to talk to, but you also need faith. So use your Bible in partnership with your medication and with your therapist to put it all together, okay? Embed God into your therapy, embed God into your medication so that eventually you could take the medication and the therapy out and there'll just be God, okay? So I'm going to share a few scriptures that I listed off that I feel like can be helpful, and then I'll kind of end it from here. So here are some scriptures that fit perfectly with emotional regulation, overwhelmed feelings, and just feeling unstable. Psalms 34, Psalms, black people in Psalms, it's Psalm. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Meaning God meets you in your emotional lows. So when you're feeling super upset or when you're feeling like your emotions are all over the place, God is right there with you. You don't have to feel like you're alone. He's right there. So just once you start realizing that you feel alone, say, Jesus, give me your comfort. Jesus, I need to feel you. And he's going to make sure you feel him. Don't worry. Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. It's a little bit reworded, but God guards your mind when it feels out of control. So essentially speaking, when you feel like you're out of control, when you feel like the devil is playing with your mind, when you feel like your mind is telling you all kinds of stuff, remember that God guards your mind. So ask God to guard your mind in those moments. Remind yourself that, God, I need you to guard my mind because right now I feel like my mind is out of control. And let him take action and do his thing. And please know, I'm not here to preach to you. I'm talking to me too. Next one, 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. So you don't have to be strong all the time. God is there for when you're weak. He's not just there for when you're weak, but God is there for when you are weak. He is super strong. That's when he's ready to swoop in the best. So at your lowest point is when God is at his strongest point. So when you feel like, I just can't do it, I'm about to cuss somebody out, I'm about to swing on somebody, I feel like I got the weight of the world on my shoulders, remember that God got you, okay? You don't have to feel like you're alone or feel like you have to be the strongest, most Hercules in the room. No. God got the Hercules part. You just stand there. You just stand there and look good. Psalm 139:14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So your brain is not broken. You were created with intention. That's one that I struggle with a lot. I struggle with an idea that I was made wrong. I struggle with the idea that something's wrong with my brain. I struggle with the idea that something is wrong with me. I struggle with the idea that God is fixing a broken part of me. And it's like, there might be things that broke within me, but I am not broken. And I have to keep that at the forefront. So just remembering that your brain's not broken. You were created the way that God intended to create you. So because there was going to be other believers within the community, or there's going to be other people within the community of believers that have mental health that struggle, that's why I struggle. Because God knew that I was big-mouthed enough to come on YouTube and share about it. So that's why I have the mental health that I struggle with. And right now, I'm able to say that loud and proud and be like, well, the reason that I struggle with my mental health is because I'm here to help the other people in the kingdom that struggle with their mental health. But when my mental health is spazzed up, that's when it's hard for me to remember why. So I'll just be like, why can't I be normal? You're not normal because you need to be there for the people who also aren't normal within the community. And furthermore, you are normal, girl. You normal. Because it's normal to be not normal, period. So yeah, your brain's not broken, guys. Psalm 139:14. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. So God sees how tired you are. Come to him and let him be that warm hug of just comfort and rest that you need. So yeah, God never expected me to regulate myself without support. He expected me to seek him, seek help, and take care of the body and mind he gave me. So God knew that I was going to have to seek mental health professionals. That's why he put them here. God knew I was going to have to seek him. That's why he's there for me. So God's not surprised by the support that you need. You are surprised by the support that you need. Tap into the support that you need. There's Christian therapists out there. There is safe spaces out there. You just have to find you some good friends, because I know it's hard. But I just met a girl, shout out to her. She's really supportive with me, and she's really just uplifting with me. So find you a one good solid friend. That's all you need. So I just want whoever is watching this to know you're not crazy, you're not weak, you're not a bad person. You are a human being with real hormones, real mental health needs, real responsibilities, and a heart that sometimes gets overwhelmed. And you deserve compassion from others and from yourself. If you're struggling, you're not alone, and healing is not linear, but it's happening even when it feels messy. So even though you may feel like, damn, like tomorrow is coming up and yesterday I done snapped, or I'm still in the same place that I was in, you will never see your growth in a way that's like this. Your growth's always gonna be looking like Doodle Bob drew it, okay? Doodle Bob is drawing the progress line. So it's never just gonna look like, or just straight. No, it's always gonna be. So give yourself grace as you're going through this process of just healing. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope that somebody watches this video and just gets everything that they need in terms of just realizing, like, damn, I don't have to beat myself up. No, you don't. Enough people are going to do that for you, so you don't have to do that. Just have grace for yourself. Be mindful of what you're dealing with, and just love on yourself. Honestly, love on yourself, and let God love on you too. So yeah, that's really it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow, double tap, triple tap, everything. Period. Love you all. See you at church. Bye.